Cold War is a 1960s strategic take on the classic card game of war, where the highest card isn't always the best card. The premise of the game is centered around intelligence agencies. As such, the goal of the game is to generate or steal the most intelligence points by the end of the game. There are three major elements of strategy present throughout the game. The first is the separation between attack and defense cards. Each player will set up their defense cards for every round before even seeing their randomly drawn attack cards. This encourages the player to predict what the opposition may be planning while also trying to piece together their own path to successful espionage. The second is the scoring system built around the basic idea of the classic card game war. In each round, both players are playing two cards, attack and defense. These two cards match up against the opponents as one would expect. However, there's a twist. If your defense card wins the matchup, you gain a point. But if your attack card wins the matchup, you get to steal a point. It doesn't just stop there though. The third major element is what happens after you do the basic comparison. Each card you play has a unique action that applies depending on the outcome of the matchup. I'll give an example. If I choose to play my 7 for my attack card, and you choose to put a 4 as your defense card, the action tied to the 7 allows me to steal an extra point. There are even actions as tricky as swapping a card with one that got played in a previous round. The combination of these three elements allows for countless strategies, some of which require you to do them accidentally to even notice they exist. Now we get to talk about the setting, which adds much to the feeling of being involved with an intelligence agency. Playing the game by calling the cards by their number or suit is great and all, but wouldn't it be a lot more fun if each of the cards had their own unique code name? Not only that, but I plan to design character portraits for these cards that relate to the action being performed by the card. Throughout the game, you'll be deploying your team of operatives and using your assets to outsmart your opponent. The idea behind all these design features is that the player will experience complex situations where careful deduction and unexpected variables can make or break their chance at winning. While playing the game, the player should feel all the positives and negatives of being the director of a covert intelligence agency. Whether it be a great play where your intuition was right, or a trap your opponent led you into, you'll be at the center of it all. In this game, you can consider the levels to be each round. Each of the 13 rounds requires players to analyze the possible cards the opponent may play and come up with a solution using their own cards. The precise goal of each round may change based on what information you do or don't know. For example, if I used a card previously that revealed the opponent's defense card for next round, my goal will be tailored to thwarting their card and hopefully gaining points out of the exchange. However, if I don't know what their card will be, I may try to play it safe and play a card I know will have a high chance of benefiting me. The user interface will involve a detailed score sheet to keep track of the points gained or lost from each matchup and action. I plan to include essential details in the designs of the cards, such as the value, name, type, and action. My target audience for this game is aimed toward players aged 20 to 35. I believe the complex strategy will be appealing to those within this age range because the game rewards good decision making while also encouraging risk. For example, the original Game of War is purely a game of chance. Adding the ability to influence the outcome of the matchup provides players with more enjoyment. From my own experience, players in this age range like to brag about their superiority over their friends. The structure of the actions associated with cards provides the players the opportunity to make big plays that they can bring up in conversation later. The immersion provided by the code names and card portraits will help bring these players into the atmosphere of participating in covert operations and intelligence gathering. Rather than being childish figures designed to be colorful and welcoming, these figures will attempt to convey a feeling of importance that further draws the player into a strategic mindset. I have looked at various publishers such as Paradox Interactive, Creative Assembly, and Stronghold Games. Paradox is well known for publishing complex strategy games, and I believe the concept of Cold War would be a great fit for the level of strategy skill their games require from their audience. Creative Assembly is also known for creating strategy games with great immersion and world building. These are qualities my game focuses on. Lastly, Stronghold Games is a card and board game publisher that develops games that excel in mechanics or themes. I believe Cold War expands the classic Game of War into a strategy game with exciting mechanics and a solid theme. Overall, the classic card Game of War is a great base to build upon. I feel that Cold War does this in an exciting way that allows players to experience complex mechanics that work together in harmony. Anyone who wants to try their hand at a strategic card or board game will find that Cold War fits well within the ranks of other well-known games such as chess, Stratego, or Risk.